Hi everyone, this is Dorset Bob, Mr. Book 451 at outlook.com. That's my email. That's Mr. Book, M-R Book 451 at outlook.com, welcoming you to my 7th YouTube video. And the focus of today's video is Robert Aickman. Now, some people say Aickman, some people say Aickman, and I don't know which one it's meant to be. I think with these things, you tend to use the one you heard first. Must have heard somebody telling me about Robert Aickman before I heard him. No, hang on, Robert Aickman before I heard Robert Aickman. No, or the other way around. I can't remember. But anyway, it's Robert Aickman. It's ghost and horror. A really fine writer of short stories, longer stories, novelettes. He did write novels, but only a couple. And I'm going to show you books, magazines, and anthologies that are all for sale. So that's the theme of my YouTube videos. Anything you see is for sale. Okay? So, it's also, I tend to do these videos in the evening when my wife is at work. So it's 1 o'clock. So I am just having something purely just to make sure my voice is good on the video. So there we are. Can I just say that whatever you see is for sale, but also if you look at any of my previous videos, usually there's a lot of things still for sale. I mean, obviously the older the video, the more likely it is that quite a bit of it has gone, but there is still quite a lot available. So there we are. So have a look, and if you can, or if you want to subscribe because you want to get first knowledge of these videos, then please do. And if you can comment, that's great. If you actually bought books from me and you're pleased with what you got, and you're pleased with how quickly I sent them, or whatever, if you can leave a comment, that'd be really lovely. Right, let's get to it, because I want to make these videos a little bit sort of snappier. I'm going to start with this fantastic Robert Aickman collected stories. This is from Tartarus Press. These are from 2001, so they are the second printing. They are just about as new. So there we are, second printing, second edition, published 2001. The first was 1999, was an edition of 500 copies. This one does just have a very slight blemish at the top of the spine panel. But otherwise, pretty nice. So they're not perfect, but they are pretty nice. Okay, so I don't think they've been read. They've been stuck on a shelf. They came from either Len Maynard's collection or Mick Sims. I can't remember which, but I bought Len Maynard's collection and Mick Sims's collection of books back end of last year, and they were in there, and they don't look as if they've been read. That set on, when you look on popular auction sites, as they say, £1,000 up to £1,000 for the first printing, and sort of 500 odd down to about 200 if they're in rough condition for the second. I'm going to ask 250 for that set. Okay, so the two books, £250. There we are. Okay, Robert Aickman, I suppose, is best known and best printed in anthologies. This is We Are for the Dark, which was the first, came out, I think, from Faber in the 50s with Elizabeth Jane Howard. This copy, I would say, is good. Some people might say it's very good, but I think just good, I would describe it. It's got a little bit of tanning. It's not actually that badly creased on the spine, if any creases. It's pretty good and pretty square. It's just a little bit of aging a little bit of a reading crease there, edge worn. There we are, light, quite light creases on the back. So it's not very good, it's good. And it's got a 20p written across the top. But this is quite a collectible paperback now. It's one that isn't showing up very often, especially in really high grade. And obviously the hardcover is very, very expensive. What did I put on this? There's a few available online at crazy prices. This one I've put at £30 from 1965. Mayflower, there we are, December 65. Okay, those are the stories for you in that one. All right, what next? Wine Dark Sea, again a collection, introduction by Peter Straub. Again, this one probably is VG to VG plus. Nice spine on it. No real major faults or creases. It's just got a little bit of staining, a little bit of damp staining, a little bit of foxing around. I've got £8 on this one. There we are, Mandarin, published in 1990 in the UK, and they've got the listing of the stories there. So let me just stand up again, as I always do in these videos, and just make sure, yeah, and a bit further forward, so you can see the books really nicely. See the top edge, again, just a little bit aged, a little bit of a kind of small stain there. So I like to show you all the faults, because then, you know, you can make your judgment on whether you want to buy the book, whether you want to spend that money, and you're not surprised, you know, oh, I didn't realise it had that, oh, I didn't realise it had this. But I have to say, if you ever get a book from me and you are not happy, for whatever reason, just give me a bell. Give me a bell. Send me a message, and no problem, we'll sort it out. I'm not in this business to scam anyone. I want people to be really happy with what they buy. I love books, and I want to deal with people that love books. And therefore, if you don't love the book when you get it, I'm not happy. Okay, Dark Entries. He really is the best, says Neil Gaiman. And Neil Gaiman probably knows. I think these Fabers are lovely. They did a few Aickman anthologies, and I think they're lovely. Really nicely produced. They feel good in the hand. The paper feels nice quality. I mean, for example, this is from what, 2014, so it's 10 years old, but it hasn't aged particularly on the paper. It's not sunned. That's a really nice, and there's an example of one of the others in the series. So I've put 10 on that. What I can say is, if you haven't read Robert Aickman, you won't be disappointed. He's superb. Right, let's go to some contributions. First of all, magazine fantasy and science fiction. From a little bit of knowledge that I have, really, this was one of the only magazines Robert Aickman sold to under Ed Furman editorship in the 70s. You don't see his work appearing in the pulps and the magazines through the sort of 50s and 60s. So all these have got Robert Aickman stories. They're mostly from the early 70s, early mid, and oh, there we are, 78, 79, sorry, so 70s. They're all kind of VG, or probably slightly better than that. Now, one thing I do want to say before I just go through these is, when I was looking up on the international database the contributions that Robert Aickman made to the magazines, I wrote down on a piece of paper all the contributions to FNSF, went to my, where I keep my FNSFs in my inventory, and I had them all. I had every single, and some of these have got more than one. And that reminded me to say to people, look, if you collect magazines, or you want a particular copy of FNSF or Astounding or Isaac Asimov's or any of the magazines and pulps, I have literally thousands in stock. And over the coming weeks, months, years, I'll be showing you selections from them. But if you have, even if you say, oh, I want to find that story by Stephen King in, FNSF that he wrote in the 1980, whatever it was, just pop me an email and I'll see if I've got it for you. So this one, and what you get, of course, is you get Robert Aickman's story, but you also get all the other contributors, which in many cases are well worth reading. And look at that for a cover, isn't that lovely? So here we've got, we've got leads off with a Christopher Priest novelette, but Hand in Glove by Robert Aickman. There. These are all going to be £3, by the way. Just £3. Look at that one. That's brilliant. That's the all-British issue. I mean, that is the Rolls-Royce of British writers of the 70s, isn't it? Look at that. That's fantastic. Novella by Chris Priest, The Watched. We've got Keith Roberts. We've got Aldous. Aickman, obviously, Brunner, Watson, Cowper, Bulmer. You could see all there. That's a super issue, isn't it? With the kind of Wellesian War of the Worlds cover. A little bit tanned on the spine, but that's nice for £3. There's lots of reading there. What do we got here? Man Plus, but look there, the novelette The Hospice by Aickman. Okay. And if you wanted the other issues that have the Man Plus to read that as well in its entirety, just let me know and I can supply that. Venus on a Half Shell, Kilgore Trout, which obviously we know who that is, but with an Aickman story. And that is, again, a novelette. He did tend to write quite a few longer short stories, and some people call them novelettes or, novellas. I don't know what the definition between the two is. But there we are, The Same Dog. Venus on a Half Shell, first of 2 parts, and I've probably got the second part as well if you want that as well. This is a nice copy, isn't it? Unfortunately, it's got somebody's name on there. This is what estate agents did back in the day. Estate agents, if you said to an estate agent, if you said to a news agent in the UK, oh, can you make sure I get the magazine of fantasy and science fiction every month? They say, oh, yeah, okay, yeah. That and a copy of whatever else you get in, Motorbike Monthly or whatever. And they'd write your name on it in pen. Mad, because they just didn't think of it in other ways. But one day people would be collecting magazines and sort of thing. Anyway, hey ho, look. Pages from a Young Girl's Journal, a fantastic vampire story, if I'm not mistaken. I do remember reading that. It's pretty good. Okay, what do we got here? Again, this one, nice one. What do we got? The Clock Watcher by Robert Aickman there, The Clock Watcher. And finally, this one's nice crisp copy. This is from December 1970. So, we're over 50 years old here. The School Friend, over 50 years old. Nice copy, £3. And into the bargain, you're going to get all these other authors that get there. Keith Roberts, look, as well, story from him, Rob Gollart. Very nice, and Larry Niven into the bargain. And this guy here called Isaac, somebody or other. Maybe he'll make it one day. Let's hope he does. There we are. Okay. The Oxford Book of 20th Century Ghost Stories, edited by Michael Cox. This is a first printing of the paperback. I'm asking £10 for this. This is from 1997. There was a hardcover in 96. This is a first printing of this book, if that matters to people. It's got the full number line there, starting in 1. There's a list of all the authors in the contents going up to page 144. So you've got some real classic authors there. And then, so it's quite a big anthology, this one. And there we are, Ringing the Changes from 1964 by Robert Aickman. It's got Joanna Russ, got John Wyndham. This is with Jane Howard, who obviously collaborated with the With the Dark, I think it was. There we are. What do you think? There's a lot of really interesting... I love these anthologies because this is a way of getting into an author, isn't it? You read the anthology and you say, yeah, I like that story, it was okay. I like that story, it was okay. Oh, wow, this one's amazing. And, it just gives you that sort of impetus to go, ooh, let me go and have a look at... let me have a go look at this author in a little bit more detail. Cold Fear, New Tales of Terror. Hugh Lamb. This is one of those books, W.H. Allen, that basically ended up in the British Library system. This one didn't. This one escaped the library system. This is a VG, or maybe just slightly better than VG copy. It's got a bit of tanning around the edges. It's not got any tears. It's not got any major faults. It's just showing that little bit of age. So I'd put that firmly in the VG category, possibly in the VG plus category. And I'm asking £50 for this book. It's scarce in this condition. 1977, and what you get is this. So you're going to get Brian Lumley, you're going to get Aickman, you're going to get John Blackburn. Nice to see him in an anthology of sort of ghost horror, isn't it? Ramsey Campbell, who obviously is synonymous with UK horror and fantasy. And yeah, very nice. Very nice indeed. And not a common book. You can pick it up and beaten to hell. But if you're somebody that likes a library with your own library, not ex-library, then that's sort of thing you want. A few more. With Tales 4. Now this is from Zebra, edited by Lynn Carter. Zebra's a publisher, edited by Lynn Carter. This one does have a little bit of, it's not fine, but it's not bad. I mean, it's pretty good, pretty tight, pretty sharp, and these are becoming very, very collectible. Obviously, great cover on that, and you've got all sorts of people in here to drool over. There we are. Ray Bradbury, Robert E. Howard, Clark Ashton Smith poem, but you've also got that long Robert Aickman, The Next Glade. That is 15. I do have another copy of this, and that is a better copy, and I've actually kept it in the bag, and it's got a board on it, and that one I'm asking 25. I think I've got the other 2 or 3 in this set. I think there were 4. I'm pretty sure there were 4. I'm pretty sure I've got at least 2 of the others. I may have 3 of the others, but there we are. Just getting down to the final books now. We have Year's Best Horror Stories #3, Richard Davis. Sphere. A little dink on the corner. I don't know if you can see that. Just a little dink there. Little bit of rubbing around it. But this is a beautiful copy of what is now becoming quite a scarce book. Look, lovely unfaded spine without too much damage head and heel. It's reasonably good. Rear cover, pretty good. Just a little bit of that way to the edges. So I'd be putting this VG plus to near fine. Okay. This is 15, which is an absolute steal, a bargain. It's a paperback original, 1973. And there we are, pages from a young girl's journal. The one we mentioned earlier, the vampire story. In there. So Sphere did a number of these. I have actually got #1 and 2 as well. If you're interested, just let me know. And finally, for Robert Aickman video today, New Terrors 1. I'm not sure I really like the cover on this, and I'm not sure I like the cover on New Terrors 2 either. These are really nice copies, okay? They do have just a little bit of tanning on the page edges. But they are really nice copies. Look at that beautiful spine. No creases really on that. Whenever you get these black covers, obviously you just get that little bit of wear showing. But where this book is concerned, this is up the top end of the condition, okay? And this one has the benefit of being inscribed by Ramsey Campbell to John Harvey, who was one of the guys in the British Fantasy Society many, many years, leading a member of the British Fantasy Society, who also published books under his imprint Spectre Press, so very much into the sort of fantasy, Lovecraftian stuff. Again, a pan original. this one from 1980. Robert Aickman, The Stains, which I have read, and it's an excellent, excellent story, and lots of other beautiful horror for you there. Now, the thing with this one is that this really is meant to go with New Terrace 2, which I have as well. Now, again, this one I haven't taken out of the bag. It's very similar on condition. If anything, it's got slightly less rubbing. This has got Stephen King in it. And I'm asking 25 each for these, okay? They're getting very difficult to find now in premium condition. You would not really have to upgrade these at all. And I think they should stay together. They're like two peas in a pod, a brother and a sister. And therefore, I'm going to say, please, can we keep those two together? So that is £50 for the two. Okay. Just a reminder that if you need any other books, if you want to know the postage on some of the books, just give me a shout. For overseas people, I was in the UK. If you're in Europe, can I recommend, or in Canada, by the way, can I recommend that we start a little pile for you, or a little stash for you? I'm doing this with a number of people at the moment, and we get it up to 2 kilos. And once, because if you're dealing with not these, but cheap paperbacks, you know, 3, 4, 5 quid paperbacks, if you're building a stack and get up to 2 kilos, actually per book, the postage starts to become not too bad. If you just order one book, like if that was 3 quid and you were wanting me to post that to Spain or something, or Italy, you know, you'd be paying 10 or 15 quid just for the postage. And it just becomes irrational and illogical and stupid. So what we do is we build a stack up to 2 kilos, and the price then becomes reasonable per book. And it's not just a way of me selling more books, it's just practical, okay? So, I mean, if you want me to send you 2 or 3 books and you pay the postage, that's absolutely fine. With the Sades, I can actually still send Surface. It's 5 to 6 weeks. It's just as secure, but it's 5 to 6 weeks, and it's a lot cheaper, but it's still quite pricey. There we are. I hope you've enjoyed that. The next one is going to be Doc Savage. Some Doc Savage material that I've got, some really nice paperbacks. And then we're going to move into some pulps. And we are going into autumn and approaching October, I will be doing some ghost and horror for Halloween. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you later. Bye. Bye. I'll turn it off. It's because the low power mode was on. Sorry, found difficulty turning that off.